Hi, my name is Dave Ulmer with Stratus Technologies, and I'd like to take a couple minutes to go over the ztC Edge product offering. But first, I'm going to give you a little overview of the hardware. We're going to discuss some of the features and benefits. Then we're actually going to move over to my laptop and I'm going to do a demonstration using the hypervisor, showcasing that. We're actually then going to run an operator interface, an HMI. We're going to experience a node failure via the network as I'm going to pull a cable, and we're going to watch how the operator workstation continues to run. Then, after the technical demo, I'm going to come back and we'll do a brief overview of what we did to show you on video, and then we'll conclude the demo. But first, I'd like to take a minute to talk about the ztC Edge. As seen here, the ztC Edge consists of two industrially rated nodes that are designed to live in the panel. As seen here with the large heat sinks, they're designed for extreme temperature swings. In conjunction, they do offer shock and vibration characteristics, and they're DIN rail mountable or panel mount. Also, they have a Class 1 Div 2 rating. When we talk about Stratus, there's a couple things we like to emphasize. We talk about ease of use, reliability, and autonomy. When we talk about the ease of use, when the ztC Edge product ships, it actually ships with the 6-step color flyer that walks you through the process of deploying both nodes. And within 30 minutes or less, the system is fully synchronized and ready for virtual image deployment. When I talk about virtual image deployment, I like to talk that the ztC Edge software is based off of KVM's Linux, which provides a hypervisor to accommodate virtual images from Windows, Linux, or ESXi. Simply put, all we have to do is have an image converted to an OVA or an OVF format, and we can migrate it straight into ztC seamlessly. When we talk about the reliability piece, as seen here, the ztC Edge is two separate nodes that are joined by this synchronization link. So in the event of any type of failure with one box or the other, the system will continue to run. And when we talk about autonomy, the nice thing about the products is in the event of a failure with a node, all the user would have to do is simply unplug the cables and take it off the rail, plug a new node in, plug the cables in, and power it on, and the Stratus redundant Linux will programmatically configure the new node and offload the images accordingly without any user interaction at all. So with that said, I'm going to take a minute now. I'm going to jump over to my laptop and I'm going to walk you through the technical demo that's going to demonstrate some of the features of the software. Okay, so now that we're in front of my laptop, I'd like to give you a brief overview of the hypervisor for ztC, and then I'm going to walk you through a virtual image and we're going to simulate a failure with the network cable pull. Like I had mentioned earlier, after the 6-step deployment guide has been finished, you're going to want to log in with the web browser to the IP address that you'd set up for the system node. And next, it's going to bring you to this landing page that's an overview of the actual ztC hypervisor. Here we have the system information. It's going to have the overview dashboard, the KPIs of the system, and then a preferences tab that actually allows you to walk through and configure the ztC. In the alerting area, it's going to give you information about the ztC, and then the audit logs give you an overview of what's taken place. Next, we want to kind of focus on the virtual machines here. So here in the virtual machines section of the resources area, we have the ability to either create virtual machines via fault tolerant or high availability, or we can actually import virtual machines from a number of different options. Like I had mentioned earlier, when we import virtual machines, the ztC system will allow importing of OVA or OVF type formatted virtual images. So we fully support all of the different hypervisors out there today. Next, I'd like to take you over here and show you, I've remote desktoped into this TM10, which is the Thin Manager image. And what I like to demonstrate is we've got the system up and running. I've actually got an OPC connector here that tells me the system's healthy and tells me what the node addresses are of each of the systems. And what I like to do when we simulate a cable pull is I like to come over here and look at a trend. So
As noted, I'm remote desktoped into the system, and in conjunction, I'm also using Thin Manager. So I'm remoted in, and this particular Thin Manager image actually has two different HMI servers, the InstaFizz and the cookie demo, and then we have some sample vantage point reports. And then down here in the far left, we have a version of View Studio that's up and running. So I like to demonstrate having both of these up, so that way in the event of a failure, the Thin Manager would wireframe, and also my HMI would wireframe. So right now I'm going to pull the P1 cable on node 1, and we're going to simulate a failure. So right now I'm going back. From the operator standpoint, nothing's changed, everything looks good. I'm going to come back to ztC, and I notice immediately I've got a little caution flag. And if I come down here to my networks area, you're going to notice that the P1 is no longer highlighted, which is the network cable that I just removed. So we simulated a network failure, and I want to come back over to my HMI. The HMI looks good, everybody's happy. I'm going to come back over here, and I'm going to check out Thin Manager and make sure Thin Manager is good. Everything's still up and running with Thin Manager. There's no problems or issues, which is a good thing. So from an operator standpoint, we haven't lost any data or had any blip for the most part. Now if I come back to the virtual machines, what I'm going to notice is that the Thin Manager image is going to move. And actually the other images that resided on node 1 have actually moved over too, because the software has noted that there is a problem with node 1, so it's programmatically moved all the images over to the node 0 box. Going back here to my Thin Manager, or actually to my ztC OPC server, you're going to see that I have a moderate alert now, but everything is still running. I've never missed a beat from the operator standpoint. The application's looking good. Operator never missed a beat. Here in my Thin Manager iteration, everything's still up and running. My applications are all there. So I'm good. But going back, we notice that the image has moved over. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to replace the cable. And the images are going to proactively migrate over. These little arrows actually indicate where the image currently resides. So here in just a second, we're going to start to see the image migrate over. But from an operator standpoint, everything looks good. They haven't noticed any problems or anything going on. So that's a good thing. And we're starting to see some action right here. The image has now moved back, and the rest of the images are starting to move back to their normal state of where they lived. Also, to note, this little blue balloon denotes that this is the preferred node where I want the image to reside. And here in my networking area, if we scroll down, we'll notice at node 1, the P1 cable has now been energized again, and the system is up and running. So without any problems, blips, or anything, the ztC allowed for a network failure without having any issues. That's all I wanted to show as far as the demonstration, and now I'm going to move back over to the physical box, and we'll conclude the discussion.
All right, now that we've concluded the online demo, I'd like to take a couple minutes just to recap what we talked about and what I demonstrated. So as you know, we had the Thin Manager image running on node 1 that was running the Thin Manager WinTMC client that we had multiple tiles up. We also had a remote desktop session running the HMI. And what I did is I actually pulled the network cable on node 1, and programmatically the image was migrated over to node 0. But the nice thing about it is, from an operator standpoint and from Thin Manager, there was never any interruption. So that truly shows the value of Stratus. On a side note, one thing I wanted to show before I conclude was this is a loose demo of the ztC Edge 100i. So just to give you a visual of it. And then what I'd like to say now is, I'd like to thank you for your time and have a great day.